Hi guys and welcome back to another season. Season 4 is around the corner, but many new changes have been made. The regulations now is going to make the racing so much more interesting. If you already haven't seen, the pre-season video is out, and well, go check that out. Here's the calendar though for this season, if you already haven't seen. But yeah, we're here at Bahrain first of all. If you haven't realized, we're going to South Africa this year, so that's always going to throw out a surprise, nice treat, Anyways, let's get into the season. Qualifying at Bahrain, the traditional season opener. The track is wet, however everyone's opted for the dry tyres, so this is going to be a really interesting qualifying. It looks like Daniel Ricciardo though, in the Red Bull, has the lead, although Charles Leclerc retakes that. We all know how dominant and successful George Russell has been on this circuit. And now as we come to the end of the lap, it looks like both Alpines now beginning to take their spot. This year is definitely going to be Alpine versus Alfa Romeo. But pole position, it looks like, look at Max Verstappen though, Verstappen's coming. Who got pole? Pole position went to Carlos Sainz from nowhere. I was talking about Max Verstappen being so quick, but Carlos Sainz actually has stolen pole position. This time last year, he managed to score his first ever podium in Unlimited Racing 2D. But a year later, he scores a pole position. Charles Leclerc will be starting alongside him on the front row, with Max Verstappen and George Russell occupying row 2. Both Red Bull boys 5th and 6th, which is a massive change. This is what the rule changes have done. With Lando Norris, who was driver of the season actually last year, P7, Mercedes 8th and 9th, and Alex Albon P10. Both Williams 11th and 12th, both Ferrari 13th and 14th. Force India starting 15th and 17th, Lance Stroll separating them. Callum Ilott, Yuki at the back with Nikita Mazepin once again, starting from last. Let's get into the first race of the season. 5 lights up, lights out, and away we go here at Bahrain. The season now has officially got underway. Verstappen and Russell starting on the hard tyres. Oh, it looks like it's a good start from Daniel Ricciardo. George Russell's really lost out a lot of positions. Lando Norris doing what he did perfectly last year and getting the start. Really well. Verstappen goes to defend, but around the outside goes Norris and Ricciardo. What a season we have on our hands. I can tell already it's going to be a banger. Carlos Sainz though, leading the Grand Prix, leading the first lap. However, for George Russell and Max Verstappen, they opted for the hard compound tyres, and now they're sitting in 9th and 10th. Lando Norris, P3. With both Mercedes 4th and 5th. Whoa, make that 3rd now for Pierre Gasly. Esteban Ocon down the inside, can he make the move? No, he can't. Rain is on the horizon so for the drivers who started on the soft tyres, this is perfect timing for them. I think they will pit now. George Russell though, making a move on Esteban Ocon, he goes down the inside. Good move. Unsurprisingly, everyone now is pitting for the wets. Look at the gap though between Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, between 2nd and 3rd. I know it's still early doors in the Grand Prix, but Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc beginning now to make a lead, make a gap. Now that Alfa Romeo have finally managed to build a car worthy of winning races and battling for the championship, everyone's just been talking about Max Verstappen. Nobody's been talking about Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz now, the look of things, it looks like he will be number 1 driver. Never thought I'd say that. Even when Sainz and Verstappen were at Toro Rosso, Verstappen was the one who got picked for Red Bull. He was the faster driver out of the two. But look what Unlimited Racing 2D has given us. Charles Leclerc now beginning to hunt down Carlos Sainz, and it looks like the rain will be stopping. The rain will be stopping. George Russell though, all over Lando. No, you can't get him. You can't get Lando. What I've realized so far, these new cars, looks like they're releasing a little bit more turbulence. Russell goes slightly wide, and Pierre Gasly takes control of that. P4 for Pierre Gasly, George Russell P5. Even though the rain has stopped, drivers, they've opted to stay on their tyres. I think if Lando Norris can get a podium, that would be really good for McLaren, especially, they're not the fastest car. Verstappen, though, has not been a debut for him to remember. We've just seen him get mugged by Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon. Anyways, up at the front. Looks like Charles Leclerc's making the move on Carlos Sainz. Goes down the inside and gets the move done. I think these boys will stay out one extra lap because the track is still really damp. Leclerc tries around the outside. He's using some Rs. Down the inside he goes with some Rs. Gets P1 back. Carlos Sainz has the lead, gets onto the racing line so that he can brake and turn in for turn 1 perfectly. The battle's not over there yet though. Now, we're beginning to enter the middle sector of the circuit. Now, do you pit now? I think you pit around now. The track, I think, is dried up enough for the slick tyres to be used. This is going to be such an interesting season, honestly. I can't wait. Wait a minute. Charles Leclerc's all over Carlos Sainz, and what surprises me the most, both drivers stayed out. Carlos Sainz though gets the move back done on Charles Leclerc. What a battle from these two. What a battle. No, Leclerc doesn't make the move. Alexander Albon though is the first driver to make a swap for tyres. Nico Hülkenberg follows suit. Giovinazzi though is the first driver to go on the soft tyres. Carlos Sainz will be pitting now there. Everybody's following suit. But there's, really differentiating range of tyres. Leclerc though, whatever Sainz does, he does too. Norris follows. All of the top 5 on softs. Which of the front runners will we see go on hards? And it looks like Verstappen. He's trusting his gut and is going back on hards. That really surprises me, The hards did not work at all on the Alfa Romeo. But he's going back onto them. You saw how many positions he lost. Now he's running down at P8. Definitely not a debut for him to remember. Sainz though getting a little bit held up by back markers. Same can be said for Charles Leclerc. Now Leclerc's got a really good run down the inside. He goes with 8 of Rs. Gets the move done. Has the lead. But you already know Leclerc will be there. Next back marker for these two to overtake is Kevin Magnussen in the Ferrari. But anyways, what I was saying a few minutes ago, I think turbulence is a massive factor as Leclerc's getting really held up behind Magnussen. Sainz also. Magnussen's holding them up a lot. Look at the gap. Leclerc's just opening the gap. Wow. But yeah, I was saying turbulence is a massive factor, and honestly speaking, the Alpines have really struggled to overtake. I know Leclerc has had a really good battle with Sainz, but Russell, look, he's just struggling. He's really struggling to get the moves done. It's like through the corners, that's where he's really losing some time. And he's back at the top. It looks like the drivers now are pitting. Leclerc and Sainz are pitting. Norris follows. All of the soft drivers, I think, are pitting. But this must be really painful for Max Verstappen especially. His teammates are full pit stop ahead of him. It's just not gone to plan for his debut. Surely he will win a few races and he will be a title competitor, but if he's going to be a title competitor, he cannot be having results like this. Now Charles Leclerc, he has a good lead. This is the biggest the gap has been all race. 2.7. Well, at one stage it was 3+ seconds. So yeah, Sainz has really closed up. But a driver who surprised me once again, who's come from nowhere, Lando Norris. I was saying a podium was really good. A P2 even better. Imagine if he battles for the win. And that is possible, as long as he can clear Oscar Piastri, which he does so swiftly. P2's there, even, cheeky fight for the win. Last year, he managed to get, I think it was 2 wins Lando did. I think Lando got 2 wins. And it's further down. George Russell looks to have got the move done on Pierre Gasly finally. But I think the gap's too big between Gasly and Norris. There's Norris all over Carlos Sainz. Rear wing. Can he get him? No, he can't. But Norris is quick. Oh no. Verstappen's really struggled though. That's what's really surprised me today. Maybe it was the strategy. Maybe those hard tires just have not worked. Sainz is getting a little held up. Norris is gaining. But now he gets held up himself. Oh, Giovinazzi's holding up Sainz. Norris down the inside. He gets the move done. Wow. That transpired really quickly. It looked like Sainz was comfortable. And all of a sudden, Antonio Giovinazzi comes from nowhere, holds him up, and now he's running P3. Lando, though, has got no more Rs. Sainz has got a little bit to use. He uses it, but no. He's gaining though. You can really see the top speed, the straight line speed of the Alfa Romeo. They both run wide. Charles Leclerc though, I wouldn't say it's been, an easy one for him. But ever since he managed to get the move done on Carlos Sainz, just before the final pit stops, looked like that's what's won him the race. However, the battle for second is so close. Look at Carlos Sainz. That's what I was saying about the turbulent air. Did you see? He got really close to Lando Norris and all existing grip just dropped. Anyways, race winner for the first race of the season and the first of this new era is Charles Leclerc. P2, Lando Norris. P3, Carlos Sainz. P4, George Russell. P5, Valtteri Bottas. P6, Esteban Ocon. P7, Max Verstappen. P8, Pierre Gasly. P9, Daniel Ricciardo. And finishing off the top 10, Alexander Albon. This is how it looks. Well, this is how the Drivers' Championship is going to look as well. It's only race 1. Charles Leclerc, though, taking a really good win. He had to fight for that one. And that's how the season's going to be. Who's going to have the faster car between Alpine and Alfa Romeo? Heaven knows. Verstappen had a stinker today. Man, I'm sure he'll come back stronger. Still getting used to his new environment, his new team. Lando Norris, though. Wow, that McLaren's not the best of cars. But he's still managing to produce performances like that. George Russell again, another driver who didn't have the best weekend, but long season ahead, 14 races still to go. Valtteri Bottas P5, Esteban Ocon P6. Bottas though, beating Ricciardo. When was the last time we saw that? His highest points finish ever in Unlimited Racing 2D. Gasly P8, Ricciardo P9, Albon P10. Perez and Schumacher finishing 11th and 12th, just where they started, I think. Hulkenberg P13, Giovinazzi P14, Arlott P15, Piastri on his debut P16, Stroll P17, Magnussen P18, Tsunoda P19, and Aston P20. Drivers' Championship just looks the same as how the race finished, really. So only race 1. Constructors wise is when it gets a bit different. Alpine, as we've seen the last two seasons, first. Alfa Romeo, second, only a point ahead of McLaren. Early days, Red Bull a point ahead of Mercedes. Williams 6th, Force India 7th, Ferrari point behind in 8th, Haas 9th, and AlphaTauri 10th. Next time out though, we'll be going to China for the Chinese Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz, the man who got pole at Bahrain, won here last year in China. Then after that, we go to South Africa, which is a massive unknown at Kyalami. Anyways, thank you for joining me for this Grand Prix. Can't wait to see you next time in Shanghai. Thank you and goodbye.